Friday, and this is going to be a weekend reading vlog because I got a new job this week, which is very exciting, but that also means that my schedule has changed a little bit. So now I don't have as much time for reading as I used to, and what that means is that I've been wanting to read all week, but it really hasn't happened as much as I wanted to, so I'm going to try and make the most of it, and I thought I'd film it for you because it's always fun. The book I've been reading this week, the one and only so far, is Hang the Moon by Alexandria Fleur. I started this, I think, last week or 2 weeks ago. Usually this would take me 2 days to read, and it's been a while. I feel like with this author, it's just normal life, so it's not really huge drama and a lot of stuff happening that you need to keep going. So it's chill. It's a very chill book, and I'm really enjoying this story, so it shouldn't take me like too long to finish it. On top of that, I also want to read volume 3 of Sailor Moon, Pretty Guardian, Sailor Moon. I started volume 1 and 2, or better, I reread volume 1 and 2 last weekend, and I want to finish this one as well. These are super quick. I used to watch the anime when I was a little girl, and I loved Sailor Moon. It was one of my favorites. It was just so much fun, and so I picked up the manga, and then obviously, like, I have a lot of other things to do this weekend. You'll see, you'll come with me to some of them, but I also really want to get into some fantasy. I'm always in the mood for fantasy, but lately I'm really in the mood for fantasy. Last week, I think, yes, last week, I finished Empire of Storms by Sarah J. Maas, and if you've read that book, you know how it ends. So I definitely want to continue on with the series, and now I have Tower of Dawn to read. I know this is not the most popular one in the series. Some people were surprised, like positively surprised. Some others have said that this is boring, that this is a drag to get through, didn't need to be this long. I'll see where I land. I'll have to say up front that I really enjoy Cale as a character. I know he's not the most popular. I don't agree with his opinions. I actively disagree with some of them. But I think he's a really interesting character to explore because you see that he's just a cog in the machine. He has been serving the king for years, so it's really hard for him to question that authority and to wrap his head around new ideas about the world, especially that go against what he sees of the world and what he's learned of this world his whole life. It's almost 9:30 p.m. so I don't have that much more time to read because I go to bed early now. So I'm going to put on my pajamas, I'm going to take my makeup off, and then I'm definitely going to get some reading done because it's the weekend. I actually forgot what it was like to look forward to a weekend. So let's enjoy this one and let's see what I get up to. Good morning. As you can see, we're in my car. Today is Saturday, and I actually woke up pretty early today, but I'm already doing groceries. Needless to say, reading hasn't been done yet. Yesterday I got a little bit of reading done. I read a little bit of Hang the Moon, and I don't really have much to update you on. We have Brendan and we have Annie, and pretty much the only thing keeping them apart is the fact that Annie has this job. So they're both currently living in the United States on different coasts, if I'm not mistaken. Like, they live very far apart, but Annie got a promotion to move to London and work in London, and they hadn't seen each other in 8 years because Brandon was her best friend's brother. They haven't been in touch for quite a long time now. Circumstances brought them together, and you can see that they both of them want to be together, and they're not simply because of the future, because they know it doesn't make sense for them to get together now only to be apart like a week from now. But it's very mundane. It's very like low stakes, no pressure. And with that being said, I am really enjoying the characters. I love how like head in the clouds and utterly romantic Brendan is. I love how pragmatic Annie is as a contrast. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. I don't think it's the new best thing, but probably also because I'm reading it so far apart and so spaced out. I'm definitely going to finish it today. So once I get home, I need to cook lunch for me and my family. And after that, I need to fix my nails. I need to listen to the audiobook. I need to call my best friend and update her on everything that's going on. So yeah, lots to get done today, but I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a great day, and let's get on with mine. So I finished the first book of the weekend. I am so happy, so proud of myself. This was the only book I picked up today, but at the same time, it's not 7 p.m. yet, so I'm hoping to continue with my reading. I finished listening to the audiobook, which I think was what I needed to do because my brain is a little bit scattered at the moment. So having the physical copy and having the audiobook was really important for me to completely focus on the story. I also managed to do my nails. They are blue now. And yeah, I talked to my best friend. I did a ton of things. But about this book, it was what I was expecting. I said before that this was very cozy, that this was very low stakes, and it was. We knew from the beginning, as we know with most romance novels, that the couple was going to get together, so it was just a matter of how they were going to get there. I had a little bit of the same problem with this author's first book, and I continued to have it in this one. I feel like she doesn't develop her characters enough. We don't get to really know their whole personalities. I feel like it's difficult for me to really care about these characters because they feel like a means to an end. Like she wants to explore a certain dynamic, or she wants to explore someone with a certain fear, getting to a good place in a relationship or something like that. And she does that, but we don't get much more from them. I checked my calendar, and this took me 3 weeks to finish. Like close to 2 weeks, but we're already on the 3 weeks mark, which is bizarre. It's bizarre that it took me this long. I gave this 3 stars, if that means anything to you. To me, that is a pretty good rating. It means that I enjoyed the book. It was a good read. It was a fun time. It was just average. And now, because it is still early, I am planning to read this one because I think this will be a quick read. I literally started this last night. I read 5 pages, if that. You can see like the drawing style here. I can already tell that the drawings are more detailed in this volume than the previous 2. So that is exciting. And you can definitely see that this is geared towards a younger audience because it's so fast-paced. Like you have a situation, you have a very clear villain, the hero saved the day, and then we move on. Immediately move on. This is the plan for the rest of the day. As you can see by the lack of natural light, it is nighttime. And I finished the second book of the day, which I'm really happy about. Like I said before, this is Sailor Moon Volume 3. And this one focuses more on Sailor Moon and Tuxedo Mask and their backstory, because when we first meet them in the first volume, you see that they're drawn to each other, but neither of them understands why that is. So in volume 2, you figure out some things. Volume 3, you really understand like the whole backstory. It's so fast-paced, and the villains are so one-dimensional that we very easily take care of them. Things were very easy to solve, very few consequences. We just did what we needed to do, up went, and everything is done. And I understand it's the age range. When I picked these books up years and years ago, I was very much in a nostalgic kind of mood. Then I kind of lost interest in this format, and they just sat on my shelves for years on end. And this was the year that I decided to pick them up again. So here we are. At least I read them. I'm glad I did. I can take them off my TBR, but I honestly don't think I'll be continuing on. And now, I'm not really sure what I want to read, to be honest. Like I said before, I have Tower of Dawn in front of me, tempting me, but at the same time, I'm not sure. And the thing that happened after finishing volume 3 of Sailor Moon is that I don't have any more books on my currently reading Goodreads and Storygraph page at the moment. The only thing I'm currently reading there is Lore Olympus because it's still ongoing, season 2, which I love, by the way. I am so excited because it's coming back very, very soon. If you haven't read Lore Olympus, please do it. It's incredible. Like, I'm going on a tangent here, but please read it. Volume 1 is out. I think it came out the end of last year because I got it for Christmas, and it's beautiful and I love it. And volume 2 is coming out this year in July. Definitely pre-ordering that, getting that, because I love Hades and Persephone so much. But I definitely digress there. What I was going to say is that other than Lore Olympus, I'm not currently reading anything. And what that means is that I feel the need to pick up like 3 or 4 books at the same time because I like to have options. And so I'm planning to start a new fantasy, but I'm also kind of in the mood for nonfiction, and I'm also kind of in the mood for something contemporary. So do not be surprised if tomorrow I tell you that I'm reading like 5 new books. Good morning. Today is Sunday, and once again, I am not losing the focus on my new schedule. So I went to bed super early, but I also got up super early, so that's perfectly fine. Last night I ended up starting Tower of Dawn, and I'm really happy with that decision. I feel like that book, while being in the Throne of Glass universe, in a way it feels like a new world to explore because we are going on a new adventure. I'm sure we're going to meet new characters, and from the chapter and a half I've read so far, I can already tell that we have a different feel for this story, and we have different goals in mind, because the other books are very focused on the war, are very focused on Aylin's story, which obviously is very interesting and what we want to know. But in this book, it feels like we're going to take kind of a step back a little bit, or if not back, a step sideways. I don't know how long it'll take me, but because I already kind of know the world and the narrative and all of those elements, I feel like it's a good choice for me to dip in and out of whenever I feel like it. On top of that, because I'm me and I said this yesterday, I started listening to a new audiobook, and I went with Bitter by Quakey and Messy. I love their books so much. If you've never read any book of theirs, pick one up. They're so good. They're such good writers. The way they write different genres, the way they understand the audience they are writing for. So Bitter is young adult, and you can see the themes and the way they are explored is geared towards a younger audience, but at the same time they're introducing us to a more complex level of thinking and of seeing things, and guiding younger people towards a better understanding of the world and of themselves. I love it. so much. Bitter focuses, this is supposed to be a prequel to Pet. In Pet we follow our main character, who I forget the name of, and in Bitter we follow their mother. I don't remember their names, I'm sorry, but Bitter is our main character here. She is kind of in a special school, kind of a boarding house situation. They have classes and all the people there are artists or artistically inclined, and they were in the foster system or they had some difficulties at home, so this place is kind of their safe haven where they can practice their art and be themselves and feel safe. And the book is very much about that from what I've read so far. It's also bringing up a very nuanced view on revolution and where you stand when riots are happening and when people are revolting, because we see Bitter that she definitely agrees with the ideas, but she wants to feel safe and she needs to feel safe. So she's not at ease being in riots and being like in these huge crowd demonstrations and police confrontations. She doesn't want that, and it's her right. We shouldn't demand anything of anyone. I'm probably going to start maybe one more book today, but I'll keep you updated. In a couple of hours I'm going to make lunch once again, and yeah, this is Sunday, so it'll be a chill day. I am so frustrated right now. I've been trying this whole day, the whole of Sunday, I've been trying to export this video, this vlog, and my computer just is not cooperating. I'm continuously looking over there because that's where my computer is, and I've been trying everything, and it just it complains that it does not have enough memory, and I just, oh please work. On another note, I have been listening to Bitter throughout the day. This focuses a lot on the necessity for protest and how people can be involved with a cause, but not always necessarily physically, but also how valuable those are. I can only imagine that I will continue to enjoy that book a lot. Then I picked up this one. This is the Penelopiad by Margaret Atwood. I've never read anything by Margaret Atwood before, and I don't know if I'll ever read anything else by her because I don't know, most of her books just don't really catch my eye, don't really call to me, but this one did, because this is part of a collection of Greek retellings or reimaginings of myths. So I'm a sucker for Greek mythology. I love it, and this is so short that I needed to pick this up. From this collection I've read Girl Meets Boy, I think it's the title. Yes, Girl Meets Boy. This one over here. I read that one. Really love that. And so I'm really curious to see what this one is all about. I'm currently 26 pages in, so not very far. But I can tell that I will enjoy this. Through the whole of history, we know the story of Odysseus, and we know of his adventures and the Trojan War, and with goddesses and with Circe even. Everything happened with Odysseus, and Penelope was at home being faithful, waiting for him, and now we get to see her side of the story. So this feels very interesting to me. I'm going to try and read those. At the same time, I don't want to rush anything, so if I only finish them tomorrow, both Bitter and the Penelopiad, that's fine. I'll close this vlog off then. In the meantime, let's go to my computer and see how things are going, and pray, honestly, and just pray. So Today is Thursday. I knew this would happen. I had a certain amount of time to read during the weekend, but I couldn't finish all those books then, so I finished them throughout the week, and now we're going to talk about it. So the first one is this one, The Penelopiad by Margaret Atwood. I was not impressed by this. I finished it. I was more interested in the concept than I was a fan of the execution, I have to be honest. I was expecting this to have a different flavor, especially in the way that women are portrayed. And here, supposedly, we were going to get Penelope's perspective of her life and her story. But I felt that we were always revolving around her husband, Odysseus, and a lot of her envy towards Helen of Troy. I don't know, I was just disappointed that we had the chance to write something new and refreshing, and all of this mythology that revolves so much around the gods and revolves so much around men forcing themselves on women. I was expecting in this story for men to take a back seat, and what we ended up seeing here was not that at all. We saw the maidens who were butchered and sacrificed for no reason, no reasonable reason, though there's never a reasonable reason, but you know what I mean. It was just a bloodbath for the sake of it, for pride, and they never got their chance to really speak, to be individuals even. They were always a collective. And Penelope, we didn't get to know her any better. It annoyed me to no end that we skip the time that Odysseus was away while he was fighting the Trojan War, and during all the time it took him to get back home. We skipped that whole time. Penelope had a life during those 20 years. Things happened, but we don't hear about them at all. So what do you mean this is Penelope's perspective? What do you mean this is her chance to tell her story? As you can see, I was not the biggest fan of this one. I was very disappointed. At least following that, I finished Bitter by Akwaeke Emezi, and I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Akwaeke Emezi is quickly becoming one of my favorite authors because I love what they do. I love their books, I love their stories, and this was no exception. I feel like if you've read Pet, the first book in this world, you were left with a lot of questions because the world was already established and you're introduced to it, but not really. Things are explained, but in a way that makes sense, but not fully in depth, because the characters already know and they've always lived in this world, so it wouldn't make sense for them to continuously explain things just so we get caught up on things. So you know enough to understand, but here we are in a world before all of those changes happened that we see in Pet. So I feel like this book is so necessary to even appreciate Pet more, because I really enjoyed it, but the plot itself was a smaller scale as well, but it felt a little bit like there was something missing. And here it's perfection, because not only do you get a super interesting story about Bitter, our main character, but we also get a better understanding of the world, a better understanding of how we got to that utopian kind of society. So I absolutely recommend this book. Once again, Akwaeke Emezi does an amazing job of changing themselves depending on what genre they are writing and what audience they are writing to. So here in young adult, you see the message that they are trying to convey. You see how important it is for them to show young people how valuable they are and how invaluable everything that they may do is. So I absolutely loved it. On that high note, this is where I'm going to leave you for now. I hope you enjoyed this weekend vlog that ended up being a little bit longer, but just for me, because for you it was a weekend vlog. That's it for now. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye!